Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Standing on your own. You know what a bad tendency I've seen in these YouTube streets, and really I've seen it all my life, is when someone wants to break down someone or say they ain't this or that. And when they do so, they the person who has a problem with the person, but then they'll try to break them down, comparing them to a famous figure. Like I use an example, and I thought about this because I had a couple people. One person compared me to Michael Jordan. And that like, oh, he the Michael Jordan or something. I say, well, you're not doing as well as Michael Jordan. And somebody else said it's Will Smith. And I'm like, okay, those one's a billionaire, probably one could be a billionaire. They done their thing, really worked hard to get there. And but that puts me in the same boat with 8 billion other people on the planet. But then I thought about it. If it was a person having a personal issue with me, and my first thought was, well, how come you can't say what you're doing that's above what I'm doing? And I've seen that a lot. I've seen a lot of people. They'll say, "Well, he ain't as good as," and they'll do it. They'll just do it with anybody they have a problem with. And I'm like, I'm gonna tell you what. As men, you gotta be able to stand on your own. You gotta be able to say what you're doing. What are you doing? If you want to put someone else down, what are you doing? What you got that's above this other person? It's very easy. See, I'm gonna tell you what with me. I've never really hero worshipped. I never had that sports star where I put them over. I could just respect their ability or something. But I'm like, you get some people living secondhand lives. This is something I discussed on my Deep Thought channel one time. They living through this other person vicariously. It don't even have to be a famous person. They'll say, well, this man over there is getting more pussy than you. I remember that happened to me in college. In college, some guys were like, well, that dude, he's getting more than you. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not. And I'm like, how come you can't say what you're doing? It's like any man. And this is something. Y'all know I'm all about masculine self-development. Any man need to be able to stand on his own and say, this is what I am. And then really, it don't have to be the same or better than another man's thing. It don't. Because every man got his lane. Now remember, in the past, I've talked about every man needs to master some type of trade, craft, or whatever. Y'all check the archives. I always talk about some stuff like that. You got to master something. Every man needs to have that one thing that he's the master of. And don't worry about the next man, Because you got some men out here, they not mad trying to master anything. They just out here existing. If you say, okay, well, what is it that you're good at? It's basically, they go to work, come back, whatever. Every man needs his own gig, his own thing. I talk about that in my book, Nice Guys and Players. Like every man, even if he making 6 figures, even if he got that wonderful job, he still need to have his own thing that he stands on. But you get some guys out here, they don't have anything. And then they meet somebody or they encounter somebody who's doing some stuff and then they try to break them down. Well, you're not doing as good as him. I'm like, well, he don't really need to. He in his own lane, his own world and stuff. And I hate when I hear that from men. I'm going to tell you what, a lot of times if I'm talking with somebody, I usually try to find out, okay, what you doing? And they don't have to be the same as me. I'm not looking at them like, well, I'm doing better than him in this. Somebody could be talking about plumbing. Ron prefers to pay a plumber. I've done some plumbing stuff on my own, some basic stuff, placed a toilet before, but I'm still like, I'd rather just let somebody else do this. It's like, let me use my time to do something that I'm more suited for, And that's how it should be, like every man should, because I'm going to tell you what, when a man's looking at another man and some jealousy, that's really some self-esteem shit. That's some low self-esteem thing because they don't feel like they good enough. And I understand, by nature, men are very competitive with each other. All people are competitive, really. But at the same time, you got to have enough I'm going to say cockiness or self-esteem, cockiness, arrogance to stand on your own. And let me hit that arrogant word, because sometimes if a man's walking around, especially a black man, if he's, feel good about himself, they say he arrogant. But arrogance just means you have a higher opinion of yourself than it should be or something. But usually if they calling some man arrogant, they just feel like they don't really know. If you good at something, you don't have to be walking around like, yeah, I'm this or that. But shit, hold your head up high if you know you accomplished something. Don't be afraid to do that. Yeah, you want to have some level of humility. You want to have something to keep you, but that's more for you. That's more for you. But if you good at something and shit, pop that collar, walk with your head up. Because you did it. You accomplished it. You did the work for it. Like, I always talk about doing the work. I'm always talking. If you did the work, shit, you don't have to yell it. Cause first of all, you don't have to say anything. You don't even have to say anything to people. They'll look at you and tell. They'll be like, oh, yeah, that motherfucker did the work. And shit, you know where you stand. You know who you are. Because that's the biggest thing. When you stand on your own, you know who you are. You don't have to, have low self-esteem about that, because you are who you are. I'll throw myself out there as an example. I'm a big dude. I'm a big dude. If I lose a lot of weight, I'm still going to be a big dude. I got that frame. I ain't going to walk around, I need to be like that little slim guy over there, or even that, dude who's 6'4". I'm like, shit, this me. I'm good with it. A big part of standing on your own is just being comfortable with yourself. And then you're not looking at that next man like you jealous of what they got. Because in fact, if a man really comfortable with himself, he can praise that other guy. And if he in business or something, you say, well, you know what, maybe we can work together or something. Because you so strong in yourself, it doesn't affect you when you see somebody else do something. Every guy got the ability. If you got a library card, you can get knowledge. Every single guy, if you have a library card, you can get knowledge. Or you can learn something. You can master something. You can develop yourself. I always talk about the body on here. You can develop your body. Shoot, you can mess with your grooming. You can, if it's a physical thing and shit. If you have reasonable amount of talent, you know what? If you can read just on a small level, you can read on a bigger level. Because the nature of man, anyway, is really to build himself. Not worry about what somebody else doing, but to turn inward, build himself to whatever he wants. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. Some people be like, well, you know what? I'm short, or I'm too short, or I'm overweight, or I'm too big, or I'm too slim. A bunch of stuff. I'm like, well, a human being can always change himself. You can always. I don't care where you starting from. You can be better. You can better your circumstances. But your circumstances, a lot of dudes waste time trying to break somebody else's shit down. But that's a waste of time. Trying to figure, trying to make themselves feel better. It's like that shit don't make you feel better. That should give you a temporary thing at best. Because after you do all that, you still in the miserable position that you're in. And that's not what you want. That is not what you want. So you gotta look, if you're a man listening to this, a woman listening to this for that matter, build yourself. Stand on your own. Be able to stand on your own accomplishments, your own badges, your own tattoos, your own championships. Instead of worrying about the next man or trying to break down the next man, stand on your own, or trying to compare that man to some other even, man who's done publicly more stuff. That's some bull. If you can't stand on your own, keep your mouth shut. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to y'all. Peace.